Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back with another BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by Bobby ODB Taylor. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, good. You?
I'm great. You are a very nice guy. Where did you get the name ODB?
Actually, it just came. When I went back to college, I was in my mid 20s, and all the guys were younger than me, so I was a little bit older than them, and yeah, we got up to go out one night, and one of the guys said, "Come on, ODB," and I was
Okay.
like, "ODB," and he's an old dirty Bob, and man, it just stuck, and hell, I've run with it since.
Okay, so I honestly thought it was like from the Wu-Tang thing. I thought it was Old Dirty Bastard, so it's Old Dirty Bobby. Like, I don't know
Well,
why I never thought of that, but go ahead.
it actually, it
Okay.
stemmed from the old dirty bastard, but yeah, my
Okay.
buddy just said old dirty Bob. Everybody calls me Bob instead of Bobby, but.
Got it.
But yeah, it stemmed from the other, but yeah, it just stuck, and I've run with it since.
Okay, so that clears up so much because I was always like, this is a nice guy. I was like, wonder where the hell did he get it? Old Dirty Bastard. That's such a weird name. Okay, so I'm going to start. One of your friends wants to know where you went after Knucklemania. He said, "Where? Ask him where the hell he went after Knucklemania."
Well, I went to the after party to the level 8 place, but man, they had a big. I don't know what was going on with the tickets and stuff, but man, I ended up getting set out there, and like the general admission, they wouldn't give me a pass to get in the back. Man, I was upset at the time, but I've got over it since then. But I was pretty pissed that night, but because I went all the way to California, just to get on TV and do interviews, and, get a little FaceTime, and didn't get to do any of that. But yeah, I don't know.
So
It
I
wasn't
have
it
a
wasn't
story.
what I was hoping for, but it'll be all right.
So my wife went. She won the Ultimate Fan. She went. She got there an hour early, and she waited in will call till like the main event. Like the she missed all the prelim fights, and they got her in there like right as the first set of fights going. But like I heard people were standing around like waiting in line for hours and hours.
Oh yeah, like I said, I don't know what was going on with Will Call, but we actually got in there. Some guys let us. We cut in line. Got in
Yeah.
line ahead of the crowd. But yeah, people were out there for hours. Like I said, and I don't know. I don't know if there was a mix up with the tickets or whatever, but the one they gave me was just out in general admission. Like I said, I was hoping to get on the floor. If not, I'd have bought my own ticket if I knew I was going to get bad seating because I flew all the way from Tennessee out there just to get it. Just for that. But it is what it is.
Where do you train out there in Tennessee?
Well, I actually train in Mississippi and at Tupelo at UFM. But
Okay.
I live out in the sticks, man. It's like an hour and 15-minute drive. But that's actually the closest gym to me
Okay.
that does everything. There's a couple of jujitsu places, but the only boxing gym or the one that does everything, like I said, it's an hour drive for me in any direction.
Okay. So are what do you I like I know you're supposed to, or people say you're supposed to fight Angel Core. I know you really want to fight Angel Core. You had talked about like training, moving your training camp and stuff in preparation for that. Like is that still the fight you want, as Angel Core, Drew Angel Core?
Well, like I said, I never really wanted that fight. He called me out after he won a fight. I think it was in Colorado or something. But
Sure.
yeah, like I said, I've been on sitting around waiting for the last year, and they've offered me fights, and I've accepted, and I don't know, and nobody else has accepted. The opponents have turned it down or chose other fighters, or and like I said, he just happened to be the one that called me out, and like I said, and I wanted it, and he said he wanted it, and then like I said, then it kind of fell through. And then after his fight the other night, he said he wasn't going to pursue our fight anymore. But I want to fight him, but
Yeah.
for no other reason than I just want to fight him. But like I said, yeah, if they give me anybody else, that's fine too. I just want to fight, and hopefully looking for a top contender in the weight class. But I don't have time to sit on the shelf. I'm ready to fight anybody at any time.
Well, it is kind of interesting because at one point he was ranked number 5, and now he's not ranked at all, and you're still ranked in the top 5. So it's one of those things like, I mean, like you would almost be taking a step back to go fight him, but I also think it'd be a fight that people would want to see too. So it's kind of like, damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing there.
Yeah, like I said, when I took the fight, like I said, he hasn't really fought anybody up there. Like I don't know that he deserves a top 5 ranked fight, but yeah, like I said, I'll fight anybody. And like I said, at the point I'm at, I don't care if they're ranked or not. I prefer a top ranked fighter because I want to get right back in contention. Like I said, my last fight, was just stopped due to a doctor stoppage because I cut on my
Sure.
lip. I didn't really get beaten per se. I know I was probably down on the scorecards because I had a slow start, but I still had 2 rounds left, and that's plenty of time for me to come back and win a fight. Like I said, I was disappointed in the stoppage, but
How do you like 155 is weird right now? You got Palomino stepped away, you got Tony who's probably getting the title shot, but then you have Bryce and you have Franco Tenaglia are both like wanting a title shot. Like if Tony was to get a fight and you were to win, who would you like to fight? I guess like what matchups would you make? Looking at you win your fight, like who would you pick on moving on your way up?
uh, to be honest, I mean, like I said, I really don't want to pick nobody.
Okay,
I just want whoever is in the top five, preferably. They're trying to give Tony and Bryce the title shot. I don't think either one of them have earned it. Neither one of them. I don't know how you get a title shot without even beating a ranked fighter.
right.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, I'll fight anybody. Like I said, I don't. There's not a particular person I'm out for. I just want whoever's next in line that's going to move me up the rankings or get me closer to getting back into contention.
So you are a very blue collar guy. Could you tell us like a day to day, like what you do? Because I feel like we know you fight, you're tough, but we don't really know like what you do day to day. And I would love to just hear. I mean, you got that look that you're like a like the guy who like probably building a house with your bare hands, or that's the look you have. I'm just curious what you actually do.
I'm literally that guy. Like I said, that's what I do is construction, carpentry. I'm actually in Texas right now. I'm working out of town and, training after work. I just put in a 12-hour day at a construction site. And then just got back to the room, took a shower. Then I'm finna go train for a couple hours. But, yeah, man, I get up and go to work, get off, go train, as long as I can in the afternoons, spend what time I can with the family. But yeah, it's a long day. But yeah, like I said, I'm blue collar and have to get in what I can.
Okay, so
I
you're
would love to do fight full time, but they don't pay me or fight me near often enough for that.
That's true right there. Yeah, that's what everybody like that's what I wanted to know because like everybody talks about like oh professional fighters they make so much money they can just fight full time and it's like that is not the case for 99% of you guys.
Oh yeah, no, nowhere near the case. Like I said, and especially the layoff they've given me here lately. Like I said, but yeah, no, I've worked 2 jobs. I've got a full time because I run a construction crew. I've got my own construction business, and I've
Okay.
also started my own gym that I run and train at part time. I'm trying to get it full time, but I hadn't got there yet.
So is that back there in Mississippi?
Now that's actually in Tennessee, where I'm from.
Okay.
I opened it in my hometown, and I'm doing boxing classes right now. I'm gonna try to grow into doing MMA and kickboxing, and might hire some jiu-jitsu guys. I want to be a full-time gym, but like I said, I'm just growing slow because I work out of town and do construction, so I can't devote all my time to it. But all my free time goes to my gym and
Do you
getting it
have
on his feet.
do you have any fighters we would know or do you have anybody that you're looking to bring up into the bare knuckle or not yet?
Not yet. Like I said, I've only been started doing my classes in July, and I only in the last month or so rented the place, or at least the spot that I'm at full time. And
Okay.
I've got some young guys. I've had one guy's had his first amateur fight. And I've got a few people coming up, but nobody that's known. But I've got some up and comers.
Okay, Scott would like to know why you wouldn't get in the Uber in LA.
Do what?
Scott wanted to know why you wouldn't get in the Uber in LA.
Oh well, I'd run into somebody on the street I was having a conversation with, but I had to make my way there afterwards.
Okay, that's pretty funny. Okay, so you're 46. Like, what age did you start fighting? You're 46, but you still have a chiseled physique. You're still tough as hell. Like you're one of those guys that like Father Time hasn't really slowed down at this point. So what age did you start fighting, and what age did you know that you wanted to be a fighter?
I've always wanted to. Like I said, I'm from a small town, and there was nothing like this around. Like I said, there was no boxing, karate, jiu-jitsu. Like I said, I mean, it was an hour drive. Both my parents were factory workers. I mean, they wasn't going to drive me an hour to go, do something like that after they got off. Put in 8 or 10 hours a day. But I mean, as far back as I can remember, I want to say the first time I remember wanting to be a fighter was after watching a Rocky movie.
Okay.
But I used to, ask for punching bags and weights for Christmas and birthdays. I've always wanted to, and I said, fought, around housing, I ain't gonna say on the streets. I don't know how we gonna say, but I've got in my share of fights and stuff. But
Sure.
the first organized training I ever did, I think I was 27 or 28 when I went back to college. It
Okay.
was the first organized training session I'd ever had. I was 34 when I turned pro, but I think I was 28 when I very first started doing amateur fights.
Okay. I'm curious how many people got into fighting either because Rocky or because of Karate Kid. You know what I mean? Like those two movies back in the 80s, like, the 70s and 80s, like they had to have spawned so many people that wanted to fight.
Yeah, I was finna say, hey, I watched Karate Kid, but I wasn't, big into karate. But like I said, yeah, when Rocky came out, yeah, I wanted to be a fighter. But like I said, but coming from a small town, wrestling and fighting is what we did for a pastime around there. There wasn't anything else to do.
Did you wrestle in school? Like I wasn't sure if like wrestling is big where you came from. Like where I like in Colorado where I'm from, like wrestling's huge. But like was wrestling big from down over there in South or?
I know, like I said, there's no wrestling where I'm from. Football, baseball, and basketball was all that's offered, around where I'm from.
You
I
seem like
would
the
love
type
to
of
have
guy that
had
did all three.
Huh?
You seem like the type of guy that would have done all three.
Oh yeah, I played all three, but yeah, football was my passion. That's where when I got up to the high school level, I quit everything but football and devoted all my time to it. I was actually I got a scholarship to Ole Miss, and man, just young and dumb, and went to a smaller school and thought I'd you know play 2 years at a junior college and then transferred to Ole Miss. Like I said, Ole Miss is where I was going to go, but I messed around and didn't get my grades and ended up quitting school. But yeah, football is where my first passion was.
What position did you play?
Running back.
Okay, so you're fast, huh?
Yeah. I was actually the leading rusher in my division my senior year. I was the number one rusher.
Okay, so do you have any idea? Like you said, you've been like it seems like everybody's talking about like, oh, I get offered a fight, somebody pulls out. Why is everybody like? And you've talked about you've been offered numerous opponents. It seems like a lot of people don't want to fight you. Like, are you intimidating? Like, what is the reason why people aren't fighting you? Do you have any idea?
I don't know that I'm intimidating, but like I said, a lot of fighters, like I'm, not speaking bad about the guys, but like Soto and Angel Cordial, I mean, they're whatever and but most of their fights go to decisions. On my first fight went to a decision. My first win. All my others have been finishes in the first and second round. I think I'm just a dangerous opponent, and people don't want to take the chance of getting knocked out by me.
So I'm excited to see you in Omaha. This is gonna be pretty cool. Like I said, I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. I get a corner in Omaha. Do you have any advice for me as somebody who's like I've never cornered before, but I'm gonna corner Tommy Stridham out there in Omaha? Do you have any advice that you can give me like going into this fight?
Keep it basic. Like I said, I know a bunch of corners they over there, and like I said, one of the guys from our gym, we call it make fun of. They try to PlayStation the fighter, like tell them every move to make.
Right.
And like I said, it's hard for a person to hear that and try to listen to all of it. And I try to when I'm in somebody's corner, I try to keep it basic and just say the bare minimum, but the most important things, but try not to give them too much information because it's hard to comprehend all that while you're fighting, and I don't want to try to confuse them. So I try to give them just the main stuff, and then talk to them in between rounds. But during the fight, like I said, I try not to say too much.
I figured I'd be screaming a lot of hit him, don't get hit. You know what I mean? Like keep it really simple like that.
Yeah. Mine is hands up, breathe,
Okay.
stuff like that. Just like I said, the basics. Then in between rounds, I do my coaching. But when it's live, I just try to say the bare minimum, the bare basics.
Okay, and then generally speaking, my last question has to do with: do you remember the very first fight you ever got into, like street fight, like usually elementary school, sometime like that? But do you remember the first time you were punched somebody in the face out of anger?
Uh, no,
I feel like you've been in quite a few scraps. If you can't remember, you're like the wheels are spinning.
yeah, there's been a few. Like I said, it's hard to put them in order. Like I said, yeah, I've been in quite a few over the years.
Do you have a memorable one?
Yeah, I've got a lot of those too.
Could you give me a fun, memorable street fight?
uh, Golly, yeah, the most fun was way too long to tell.
Okay.
I said, but the most memorable one was high school. And it's actually the only one I ever lost. But I bumped into, and I say I lost. They broke it up before it ever got going. But I bumped into a guy when I turned around. We kind of just pushed each other. When I turned around to look, he done reached back. He was hitting me by the time I turned around and saw it was coming. And like I said,
Okay.
we turned out to be friends afterwards. We still speak on Facebook some, but yeah, it was the most memorable one, the first one.
It's kind of funny how you can get in a fist fight with somebody and then it instantly kind of bonds you and then you're connected for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I think I said people don't understand. Like I said, and I was actually talking or not talking, but they made a post the other day about it was after a sparring session. We took a picture and somebody posted on there, yeah, my fight family. People that don't fight or do anything like that at spar hard, it's hard for them to understand the camaraderie that we have. I mean, we literally meet up and try to beat each other up,
Sure.
literally. And then when we get done, we sit around and talk about it and tell each other how we can get better, knowing that we've got to face them again, the next time we meet, and we're still trying to make them better fighters. And they're going to be our, kind of our opponent, in a couple more days. Yeah, to be able to beat each other up and try to make your opponent better every time you do it. I don't think people understand the connection you have. Like I said, it's a cool connection to have with people.
Okay, well, I have no more questions. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out or any sponsors or friends or anything you want to give a shout out before we call it good?
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to my gym, the UFM, my management, Goat Combat Agency, Bluff City Electrical Contractors, JP Shelley and Sons, Green Frog, Barger Construction, Crossroads Internet, the General Quarters, Live Beach Dirty, Unity Health and Wellness. And I also want to give a shout out to my boys, Colin and Jeffrey. Man, I do this for them, kind of. Like I said, I mean, I do it for myself, but
Sure.
at this age, I keep doing it. Like I said, man, I just want them to understand don't ever stop chasing your dreams. It's never too late to do what you love. Because one of these days, I'm going to have to give it up. That's going to be a hard pill for me to swallow. And I don't want them to stop chasing theirs a minute too soon.
How old are your kids? Do they come to your fights? Do they enjoy watching you fight or?
Yeah, one is 21, my other one's 14. Like I said, yeah, they've both been to my fights. And my youngest son, I was trying to get him as my corner, but you've got to be 18 to be in the corner. He's going to come out to Omaha with me.
Okay.
But yeah, he travels with me. Some other one, and he lives in Middle Tennessee. But yeah, they've both watched me fight. Like I said, they enjoy watching, but they come when they can.
Does your youngest son have any aspirations to be a fighter, or he's good just watching dad do it?
He comes. He takes my boxing classes, and he's actually really good. And I've mentioned to him, trying to get to because he's actually pretty good at it. But
Yeah.
he's like me. He's real passionate about football. I mean, I come home and he'll have on a helmet, and shoulder pads out in the yard running drills, by himself. He's all into some football, but yeah, he's really not into the fighting yet, and that suits me just fine. If he don't want to get punched in the face for a living, I don't blame him a bit.
All right. Well, I'm a big fan of Old Dirty Bobby, and I can't wait to meet you. And thanks so much for your time. You're a big fan. Like we love you on the Reddit, so like you were definitely one of the guys that said you got to interview him.
All right, man. Yeah, I appreciate you reaching out, man. I enjoy it. I'd like to meet you too, and yeah, like I said, I appreciate. He reached out and wanted to talk to me.
All right. Thanks, sir. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too.